In the news this week, political shock. Liza Harvey quits as Liberal opposition leader. Also, an exclusive One Nation WA leader opens up about his 2021 state election hopes despite Labor's popularity.
Curiosity sparked by a new sculpture in Perth CBD and controversy over its cost. We exclusively break down what goes into the price tag and why.
Australia's unemployment rate up again as WA records a fall in joblessness.
And on Western Perspective, the opening of Perth's new museum, a conversation with Arts Minister David Templeman.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Mash McKenzie.
Good evening. Those exclusive stories in a moment. But first, in a snap press conference, Liberal opposition leader Liza Harvey has announced her resignation as leader 111 days before the next state election. During an on-camera statement, Mrs. Harvey says she has made the decision to resign so she can give the party a chance to reset the election strategy.
I have a message to the voters in Western Australia. As we head towards the March 13 election, my decision to stand aside is to give you and the Liberal Party a real choice. Now, during COVID-19, it's been extremely difficult for us to get our message out and for people to understand what it is we offer to the community of Western Australia. I believe a new leadership team will provide that opportunity.
Meanwhile, Premier Mark McGowan has responded, saying Mrs. Harvey's quitting indicated the Liberal Party is not ready for government.
The fact that we are now 3 months away from a state election and they've done this shows that they are very divided.
It's understood that Dean Nalder and Zach Zerkup will be contesting for the leadership ballot. Mrs. Harvey will remain as leader before the party room meeting to decide the next leader. One Nation WA expressed confidence about their chances in the state election despite the McGowan government's popularity. Leader Colin Ticknell has opened up about the potential numbers of candidates in the upcoming election, as political experts believe they have a chance to poach voters from the Nationals Party. We'll begin with Kit Sanders' exclusive report.
Ahead of the March 2021 state election, One Nation leader Colin Ticknell wants to keep the government accountable.
That's my job as an MP. Represent the people of WA. Like I said, I don't want to make problems, I want to solve problems.
The comments come following Mr Tinknell's questions to the state government's upper house regarding a dispute between business owners and the local council of Collie, which has lasted more than 3 years. Mr Tinknell believes that the state government hasn't done enough since the last state election and that despite Labor's popularity, anything could happen by March.
This time we would like to have 5 or 6, get the balance of power in the upper house and hold whoever the government is, whether it's Liberal, National.
Political expert Ian Cook analyses the situation, saying One Nation has the potential to take on the National Party.
Look, I mean, I think to some extent the National Party is somewhat vulnerable in Western Australia, that they've sort of gone backwards to an extent, and there's a possibility perhaps that One Nation could present itself as a regional party. I mean, I think we've got to bear in mind that, One Nation in Queensland, or it's powerful in Queensland, and that's a decentralised state, that, there's lots of people in the regions, and that's part of where One Nation picks up a lot of its votes.
It's yet to see whether One Nation's conservative reputation will attract voters in Western Australia.
I think that to some extent, the Legislative Council represents a much better place for One Nation to go because they don't need the sorts of percentages you need in lower house seats. So in general, I think it's the sort of right sort of strategy for One Nation.
Kit Sanders, WAMN News.
It's a sculpture that has provoked conversations, curiosity and controversy, with the newly installed Cygna piece in Perth CBD causing quite a stir among citizens, Matt.
The artist Dr. John Tarry has exclusively revealed what goes into the $295,000 price tag for the piece of art. Designed for Perth's East End revitalisation project, the Blue Swan, as some have called it, is provoking debate among local residents about the cost of artwork. Nelson Liu reports.
The cactus in Forest Place, the pineapple outside RAC Arena, Elizabeth Key's arches, and now...
It is thought-provoking.
Cygna is the newest sculpture installed in Perth CBD, and it's baffling many people across the city. Designed by artist John Tarry, it's been unveiled on Friday as a modernist interpretation of a swan and Swan River, but what's confusing many is its mind-boggling approximate $295,000 cost.
It was commissioned by the commissioners. It was a piece of work that was done in their time.
Viewer comments on WAMN News' page say it's a waste of money, claiming it could have been better spent on tackling the city's issues, including homelessness. But the team behind Cygna says every cent is accounted for. In the total cost, 40% is devoted to tax, including 10% in GST and 30% income tax. The remaining 60% is divided up, with 20% each paying for the design, manufacturing, transport and installation.
My contract is to build a piece that requires minimal maintenance and is going to last for up to 50 years. That's all costs to deliver the work.
The City of Perth is optimistic it'll help revitalise the east end of the city.
And what we're hoping is that when people come down and have a look, explore it for themselves, they might decide that they like the pedestrian priority precinct.
The design is a nod to WA's environment and history.
This needs to acknowledge, if you like, the Swan River, and also the creature it's named after. I'm trying to create, if you like, a space for people to generate their own stories, and they certainly have been in the media.
But opinion is still divided on what it's meant to be.
When you're breaking new ground, people start asking questions.
But there's hope Cygna will continue to challenge opinions about what it represents.
If you want to come in and have a look, work it out for yourself.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
An exciting moment in Perth's ongoing cultural development as the new Perth Museum Boola Bardip opened its doors this weekend following years of construction. WA Premier Mark McGowan and Arts Minister David Templeman attended the opening celebration, with WAMN on hand to see the unveiling. The biggest highlight of the museum is the giant blue whale, currently the public's favourite exhibition drawcard. Due to COVID restrictions, entry tickets were allocated to citizens based on a lottery. The government says free bookings are also available for visits until 31st January 2021.
And needing to do multi-visits, so I'd plan, it'd be great for, a weekend to come and have a look. There'll be moments when the museum will be open at night where you'll be able to come and have a look at during the evening, which is another different experience.
Australia's unemployment is on the rise, with the nation's jobless rate edging up again. The latest data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics has revealed the rate increased from 6.9% in September to 7% in October, seasonally adjusted. Meanwhile, Western Australia bucked the trend, with its rate falling by 0.1% to 6.7%, and the McGowan government said the figures is a good sign for the state.
A northern suburbs primary school will receive a major overhaul with a multi-million-dollar rebuild beginning next year. Hillary's primary school will be rebuilt in a $16.7 million construction project, which is set to provide new facilities for students, including an administration building, library and kindergarten classrooms. The state government says it'll improve the education environment for the students.
This is about ensuring that an older school is renewed, and as you can see, it is an old school. It's had some maintenance issues. It's far better to build a new school than continue to patch it up.
A 41-year-old Cloverdale man has been charged with 230 offences, including the sale of amphetamines, heroin and cannabis. The arrest occurred as part of an operation targeting the sale of illicit drugs within our community. A total of 19 people have been charged as part of the operation across 6 suburbs, totalling in 380 charges being laid. The man faced Perth Magistrates Court on the 21st of November after his initial bail was refused. Detective Senior Sergeant Doug Sepik says this operation has been a joint effort between police and the local community.
The world is one step closer to a COVID-19 vaccine, with Pfizer and BioNTech completing trials and moving to medical approvals. It comes as a second wave of the virus has devastated communities, forcing the return of shutdowns in many countries. The companies announced they had filed authorization for emergency use with the Food and Drug Administration in the United States. The chief executive of Pfizer says the progress represents a critical milestone, delivering a COVID-19 vaccine to the world. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has openly backed under-pressure Home Secretary Priti Patel, saying she did not breach the ministerial code of conduct with alleged bullying of staffers. The PM overruled the independent advisor Sir Alex Allen's decision, with Mr Allen announcing his resignation shortly after. In the daily press conference, British Secretary for Health Matt Hancock says Ms Patel is absolutely sorry over the report.
A conundrum that has stumped NASA's best scientists for 16 years has finally been solved. The Blue Ring Nebula, which is located 6,197 light-years from Earth, has stumped astronomers until recently, when the newly published theoretical models suggested a nebula was created from two stars colliding. While merging stars are thought to be common, they are nearly impossible to see, as they are either obscured from the debris or look as much as the regular stars, so this appears to be our first observed example of one. The nebula appears to us as the dazzling star surrounded by radiant blue light and two faint purple circles. Matt, it's good to share the chair with you when Sarah's away.
Well, we're sharing a desk rather than a chair, but it has been a lot of fun. And viewers, if you'd like to learn more news and insights during the week, you can check out wamnnews.com.au.
No matter where you're watching, we wish you good health and good night.